clicked the wrong one. Let me try that again. Okay, it's just preparing to live stream. If you have any questions, pop them into the chat for me. I'm more than happy to. Jay, how can I improve my collocation? On the Pearson website, there are more than 2,500 collocations. Yeah, I know, that's problematic, right? I don't think you should be memorizing I don't think it's possible to memorize vocabulary. Learning a language is hard for many reasons, but vocabulary is, I mean, grammar's okay if you sort of, I mean, it's complicated, but building your vocabulary, memorizing words, yeah, not really. I think what you need to do is just read over that word list of collocations just to raise your awareness of them, of what they are, of how they function. It's adjective, noun, or maybe it's verb, preposition, or maybe it's some sort of combination of several types of words that come together. So have a look at that word list. It's very interesting. Well, maybe not for you. For me, I find it fascinating. Then what you want to do is you want to start reading interesting stuff so you can actually maintain your motivation to build your vocabulary. And when you're reading, start to pay attention to those collocations and highlight them, write them down. I think keeping an activity book of new vocabulary categorized by part of speech. For example, learn nouns, write them all down, write the nouns in the noun section of your book, write the verbs in the verb section of your book, and adjectives. Really, they're the three you want to learn: nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Cool. It's a hard process, but it's weird how vocab enters your mind. Okay, I'm about to pop the YouTube live link into the chat so you can see it there in the chat, and I'm going to turn the chat off so you can only chat with me, so you can't chat with each other. Cool. So I'll say it one more time. If the screen is blurry or not formatting properly, click that YouTube live link in the chat and you'll be able to watch it on YouTube live, but you can ask your questions in the Zoom. Good luck tomorrow, Joe, who's taking the test. All right, just before we begin, I need to do a little preamble, which is, first of all, again, thank you very much for your feedback regarding the live classes. It has been extremely illuminating. We've learned a lot. See, we sit here as teachers with this equipment and we think we're delivering great questions and and it's pretty good. We're pretty happy with it. But more importantly, are you happy with it? And what can we do to improve? This is all very new and experimental, what we're doing. So those of you who gave us responses, we had 110 responses. So thank you very much. What we've decided to do is split the live classes into 2 streams. We're going to have PTE 65 for those of you who are aiming for 65. And those live classes, which will start in about 2 weeks, will have more elaborate methods parts and more sort of fundamental grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation training. The 79 plus will just be an intense mock test under test conditions. Of course, with the question explained in detail. Sorry, I'm gonna have to have a drink. I ate a curry for dinner. So that is what has come out of that feedback survey. So again, thank you very much. Now, the slides that I have tonight are the old slides. The reason being is an organizational failure on my behalf. I've actually lost week 11. So I've got the old week 11 and I redid them and I think they're good, but if there are any mistakes, you can blame me. Cool, I think we're ready to go. Let's get started on PTE Reading live mock test. I hope you're all strapped in. In today's live mock test, we're going to do a multiple choice single answer, a multiple choice multiple answers, a reorder paragraphs, a fill in the blanks, and a reading and writing fill in the blanks. Before we do that, we'll briefly discuss time management. In the PTE Reading test, you need to manage your own time. You will get between 15 and 20 questions, and you will get between 32 and 41 minutes total time. So each of these tasks are not timed individually, they are timed in total. So you need to move on. You need to complete them efficiently, then move on. So we suggest for multiple choice single answer, of which you'll get 2 or 3, spend about 2 minutes. The passage is short. Multiple choice multiple answers, you'll get about 2 or 3, spend about 2.5, possibly even 3 minutes on these. The passages are longer. Reorder paragraphs, you'll get 2 or 3 of these. You should be able to nail a reorder paragraph in under 2 minutes. Fill in the blanks, of which you'll get 4 or 5. You can do these in about 90 seconds because the text is only 80 words. It's very short. Yes, and if you don't know the collocation, you don't know the collocation. Reading and writing, fill in the blanks, of which you'll get 5 or 6. You should spend about 2.5, perhaps 3 minutes. Just let me check everything's still working. Cool. Okay, good. It's all working. Let's talk about multiple choice choose single answer, which is usually the first task you get in the PTE reading test. It will look like this. There are some things you need to know here. This is the question prompt. This is absolutely critical. In the question prompt will be a keyword that it's going to ask you to look for, or it'll sort of refine what you need to read for, right? So you'll be reading in here for an opinion, for example. These are the answer options, and the text is about 110 words max, so it's quite short. You do have time to deep read this text, right? I'm just going to explain the method from here for a second. The method is this. Number 1, read the question prompt. Okay, so you're looking for the opinion of the author. Don't read the answer options yet. Number 2, read the text deeply. You have enough time. And think about what is the opinion of the author while you're reading, okay? Then, number 3, go to the answer options and you go, I think the author's happy with this, whatever it is, whatever the opinion is. He thinks it's good. And then you read these and you find the one that says, he thinks it's good, and you tick that one. What we found is if you go question prompt to answer options, it gets very confusing. So it's better off to go question prompt text answer options. Cool. Now that I've explained that, we can probably skip this part and get straight into this question here. Okie dokie, let's have a look at how it's going there. Whoops, there's no C. Okay. There's A, B, D, and E. There you go, whatever. That's right, there's no C. Just have a look at the answer options. Sorry, there's A, B, D, and E. This is my error in editing. I'm sorry, nobody check these. So it's either going to be A, B, D, or E. There is no C, so please choose out of these 4. My apologies. A, B, D, or E. What do you think? What do you think? Let me have a look at your answers. Okay, they're changing C to D. Yeah. Good. All right, interesting. Let's go through this one. It's an interesting one. So the answer is, well, let's read the question prompt. What does the text say about our potential? So this is the key word here, our potential. So you want to ignore all of these because they will distract you, and you want to read this all the while thinking about what is this saying about our potential? And it's this section from here that begins to talk about what we can do, our potential, right? But recent research shows that our brains can retrain themselves to outwit distractions. With repeated practice, environmental cues such as busy traffic or the meeting room can trigger the brain to jump directly back to a more focused state. Okay, so if I ignore these and I think about what's the potential, well, we can use distractions to regain focus. Okay, that's what I would say to myself. We can use distractions to regain focus. A, we can ignore environmental distractions to gain focus. Well, this is definitely wrong because we're using distractions to gain focus. So it's not about ignoring. So it's not A. B, our cognition can still occur in busy situations. No, that's not it. Let's have a look at D. We can develop an ability to focus from distractions. Oh, I like that one. Let's just see E. We can learn to enjoy attention-grabbing distractions. The answer is, in fact, D. We can develop an ability to focus from distractions. So that was the subtle difference in meaning. If you chose A, it's understandable because it was similar, but in fact, it was quite contradictory, or, well, it just didn't say that. Okay, Nambu Kathy's off to a great start. Nice work. Cool bananas. Let's do multiple choice. Choose multiple answers now. Again, just while we're doing this, if your screen is blurry or if it's not formatting properly, there's a YouTube live link in the chat. Click that. Watch this on YouTube live. You can ask your questions in the Zoom webinar. This is what multiple choice, multiple answers looks like, and it looks very similar. Again, you have the question prompt, which is critical, but usually it's going to ask you something about which ones are true, which ones are accurate, etc. And your job is to go, okay, this one says it here in the text, this one doesn't, or it contradicts, for example. Let's run through the method after we do the scoring. Scoring is important because there is negative marking here. So suppose a question has 5 answer options, A, B, C, D, and E. Let's say that A and B are correct. So let's say you choose A and B. Well, that's the best possible outcome because you'll get 2 points. Let's say you just choose A. That's fine. You'll get 1 point. You've been cautious, but you still walk away with a point. If you choose C and D, you get 0. It doesn't go to below 0. If you choose A and C, let's say back here, you knew that A was correct, but you weren't quite sure about C, so you left it. You still get 1 point. But here, you knew that A was correct. You weren't quite sure about C, but you chose it anyway, where you get 1 minus 1. So it's good to be cautious. I mean, it's always good to get both, of course, but it's good to be cautious. 1 minus 1 is 0. If you choose A, B, and C, well, that's 2 minus 1, so you get 1. And if you choose nothing, you definitely get nothing, which is a silly idea. Here's the method. Run your eye very quickly down the text, just for like 3 seconds. You'll be surprised what keywords your brain will pick up. Read the question prompt. Okay, then you want to move to the answer option. Identify a keyword in the answer option. Number 4, you want to locate a corresponding keyword in the text. So, for example, in the answer option, there's an acronym like CGS, right? In the answer option. So then in the text, you scan your eyes across the text and you go, oh, there's CGS written in the text. So you know you've found your corresponding section. Read around it. Does it, this part of the text, say the same thing as the answer option? If yes, select it. So this is about scanning your eyes over the text, identifying keywords, and quickly reading. Let's do it. Let me move this, sorry. I'll probably give you more time at the end because this is a really big one and a bit of a doozy. Okie dokie, that's 3 minutes. So just let me check that everything's okay. All right. Do you want some more time? If you want more time, put in yes, no, yes, no, yes, 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 no, yes, yes. All right, the yeses have it. Let me just give you another 30 seconds. So quarter of this clock. Okie dokie, let's go through these answers. This was a real challenge, this one. There was a lot going on in this text. But if you run your eyes over it, you can see certainly lots of acronyms, numbers. There's some critical words as well. Let's go through and have a look. So there is a big change in outcomes for boys from the age of 16. Okay, there is a big change in outcomes for boys from the age of 16. So girls outperform boys. The gap is apparent amongst the 10-year-olds measured in PIRLS, and it is even wider in the group of 15-year-olds who take part in . When the reading skills of 16 to 24-year-olds are tested, the gender differences have suddenly become imperceptibly small. So is there a big change in outcomes for boys from the age of 16? I would say yes, I'm going to choose that one. That was a tough one. That was a really tough one, the first one. Let's have a look at B. Teaching methods may be a factor in the outcomes. Okay, so there's the keyword would be teaching methods, which was pretty hard to find down there. A difference in intelligence has been rejected, and the same goes for the theory that the difference could have something to do with teaching methods. So teaching methods may be a factor in the outcomes. Yes or no? Would you keep this one? Hopefully you said no because it says something different. Let's have a look at C. Boys may be less motivated. Excuse me, move this. Boys may be less motivated to perform well in the tests. Girls are more motivated to do well in low-stake tests than boys. So would you choose this one? Yes or no? Well, the text is saying girls are more motivated, so that means that the boys are less motivated, so I think that's a good one to choose. What about D? A difference in intelligence between males and females partially accounts for the results. Would you choose this one? Yes or no? Hopefully you said no because they were contradictory. What about E? Girls are naturally better at reading. Girls outperform boys, girls perform best. Some researchers claim that girls are subject to different requirements and expectations than boys, and that this could explain why girls appear to be better at reading. This was a really tricky one. The fact that the answer option said naturally, and all of this is about environmental influences, plus it says girls just appear to be better at reading. Yeah, I did this one and hopefully, yeah. I tell you what, let's just forget E because it's not a great question. I wrote that really quickly about 20 minutes ago when I was freaking out because I couldn't find the original slides to use. So let's just forget E, okay? Just forget E from your result. Let's forget E never even existed because it's a bit ambiguous and I don't like it. Let's do F. It may be that PIAAC is a fairer test. Would you choose this one? Yes or no? Hopefully you would, because yes, I think they're saying the same thing. So in fact, there were three answers, three correct answers, A, C, and F. Did anybody get A, C, and F? How did you go? How did you go? How did you go? Hold on one second. Okay, got it. Okay, only C. A and F, C and F. Ravi got them all right. C and F, 2 out of 3. A and F, that was a tough one. I agree, that was a tough one. But some of your feedback actually was, we want tougher questions. So there you go. Are they this tough in the exam? I think something happens in the exam. I think the level of difficulty that we create is on par with the PTE. Really, we push the limits. They're about the same. They're pushing the limits. Like a good, well-educated native speaker would still be like, whoa, what's the answer here? But then hopefully be able to get it. What happens on test day is, well, you're psychologically under enormous amounts of pressure. So it makes it harder to pay attention and to focus. And reading is one of those painful things where it's all about attention and focus and concentration. So if you can maintain concentration despite feeling all the fluctuations of anxiety and whatever you're feeling, I mean, that's the key to succeeding on test day as well is, you know, test performance on test day. Cool. Let's do reorder paragraphs. This one's a little bit more fun, I think. This is what it looks like on test day. You'll get 2 or 3 of these on test day. On the left-hand side, you get a jumbled up paragraph. You need to put it into the correct order on the right-hand side. This is the method. Firstly, you need to find the independent sentence. This is critical. This is like the topic sentence, the opening sentence, the sentence that stands alone and doesn't refer back to any other sentences, the sentence that makes for a good introductory sentence, okay? It should clearly outline what the paragraph's about. Then you use subject, verb, object, where, for example, the information here will travel to the subject of the following sentence, or maybe it will go subject to subject or object to subject, but there'll be some sort of connection, right? Maybe through the same word, maybe through a synonym, maybe through a pronoun. You can use your knowledge of grammar to help you, but it shouldn't be the only thing that guides you. Meaning should guide you. Check sentence flow, check overall paragraph meaning before clicking next. Okie dokie. Let's have a look at the answers here. Okay, if you have any questions, just save them to the end. I'll do a Q&A at the end. All right. Good. I'm seeing most people are choosing E as the independent first sentence. Okay, cool. All right, let's go through these answers. So, no, let's go back. Let's think about it first. Let's select the independent sentence. What about A? It's not that they are cognitively incapable. Well, we don't know who they are. You can start an independent sentence with it. That is possible. But the fact that they've used they, it's just not good. B, the findings show that, well, what findings? What about C? A study conducted at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development provides new insights into these risky, started off well, but then we moved into these risky decisions, which eliminates C. D, they are less, no, E, it must be E. So let's start with E. Reckless driving, binge drinking, drug taking. It is well known that adolescents are more likely than adults to engage in risky and impulsive behavior. Okay, so we've got adolescence in the subject there. We've got risky and impulsive behavior. So what are we going to connect here? Well, let's try D. They are less motivated to seek out such information. No. Let's try A. It's not that they are cognitively incapable of processing the issues. What issues? Oh, it could be A. A's not a bad one, but let's try B. The findings? No. What about C? A study conducted at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development provides new insights into these risky decisions. That seems like the best one to me. Now, where are we going to go? Well, we're talking about the study. So I imagine we're going to do B. The findings show that relative to children and adults, adolescents are less interested in information that would help them to gauge the risks of their behavior. And then we're going to go, well, what do you think? A or D next? This one's, it's hard to say why. Let's have a look at the entire thing. They are less motivated to seek out such information. Oh, there you go. There's the key. In B is the word information to help them gauge the risks. They are less motivated to seek out such information and better able to tolerate a lack of knowledge. It's not that they are cognitively incapable of processing the issues. They are simply driven to seek new experiences and try out new things. Who got E, C, B, D, A? E, C, B, D, A. Just while you're looking at whether you got that or not, how you're scored in this one is if you can connect two adjacent sentences. So if you got E and C together, E and C, it doesn't matter in any order, you'd get 1 point. If you got C and B together, C on top of B, you'll get 1 point. This is how the scoring works, like this. So it's possible to get a high score of 4 there. How did you go, by the way? How did you go? Cool. All right, got some 4s, got some 2 points, 4 out of 4. Bingo, says Biren. Nice work. Good. Okay, that was also a tough one. Also a very tough one. Rock and roll. Let's move on to fill in the blanks. You'll get 4 or 5 of these on test day. What you need to do is actually drag the word into the blank here, into the blank space. This is all about collocations, which we were talking about at the beginning. So for example, if we look at this one and we have the word skills, problem solving and analytical skills, develop your something knowledge, well, theoretical knowledge, there's a collocation. Yes, there we go. So method, scan, read the text to get an idea of the theme. What's it about? Start to activate that vocabulary in your brain. If you can identify word types, you can match the gap to the answer options. For example, let's say you're looking at a gap. There's a noun here. There's an article there. This must be an adjective. You look down. let's say there are 5 answer options. 2 of them are adjectives. You've just made your chances of getting that right 50-50. If you can do that quickly, it certainly helps. It doesn't get you the answer, but it gets you closer. But really, this is about number 3. What's the collocation or the word combination or the natural sounding phrase? That's what this one's all about. Let's do it. Oh, it's got no timer. Let me time you. I'll give you 90 seconds. So move quickly, please. Thirty seconds left. Okay. That's 90 seconds. That should be plenty of time for you to quickly read this, drag and drop the right word into the right space. Let's go through the answers. So in today's digital world is number 1. Okay, videos and books from being, well, you need to get the overall context here. It's going to have to be an adverb. This is where knowing the type of word comes in handy. Being something copied. Well, we know this is a type of verb, so we know we need to slip in an adverb here. For example, sphere wouldn't work, counterfeiting wouldn't work. Illegally and unjustifiably would. The correct word is illegally copied. A new light-based technique is making it more practical to create secure, invisible. What type of word can fit here? It needs to be a thing. In other words, a noun. So we got sphere, invisible sphere, no, invisible traces, watermarks. So there's 3 possibilities here. And we're going to go with invisible watermarks that can be used to detect and prosecute for counterfeiting, which is also one of those weird noun types of adjective-y verbal things. Who got world, illegally, watermarks, and counterfeiting? How did you go? Nice. Good, 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 good. Lots of bingos and wahoos. That's nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. 4 out of 4 again. 3 points, 3, 3, 4 out of 4, 3. Cool. Why wasn't number 3 traces? Because it wasn't the invisible watermarks. From the context, it had to be watermarks. It couldn't be traced. It's just not right. It's just not quite right. If it's not quite right, it won't be right. Keep that in mind when you're doing the test. Okay, reading and writing, fill in the blanks. The final task of PTE reading. You'll get 5 or 6 of these on test day. You click on the drop-down list, you'll see 4 answer options. You can see that the text is quite long. It can get up to 300 words, I believe. So you will need to sort of speed read the whole thing in order to select the right word. This task tests your understanding of meaning. Eliminate options that you know are imprecise. So it's about precise meaning. Read each sentence, inserting each of the options one by one. Listen to the way the sentence sounds. This is if you have a developed vocabulary, you should be able to feel or sense which word is precise out of the 4 or most, just precise. The rest will be imprecise. Number 4, choose the option that sounds the best in the sentence. There's not much of a meaning here because it really is just a test of your vocabulary depth and breadth. Let's do this one. Again, no timer. I'll time you for 3 minutes. One more minute. Okay. That should be enough time. Let's go through the answers. The answers are, no, I've given you another, sorry, I'll give you another 20 seconds. Okie dokie. Now sorry, I jumped the gun before. Let's go through the answers. Let me just check that everything's cool. Yeah. I think everything's cool. Okay. Cool. Let's have a look. Away we go. So number one, Ice Age cave artists recorded a previously unknown breed, hybrid, cross, or compound species of bison and cattle. So what's it called when two species are together like this? It's called a hybrid, unknown hybrid species of bison and cattle. In great detail on cave walls, Okay, this is a really tricky one. Number 2 was, what is it? It has a something nature, a volatile nature, a slippery nature, a shifty nature, or an elusive nature. Well, the answer to this one actually comes from the sentence above it, where it's talking about the Higgs boson, a subatomic particle suspected to exist since the 1960s and only confirmed in 2012. So you couldn't find it. And if you can't find something, it's often called elusive. Elusive is the precise word here. Volatile, slippery, and shifty are imprecise. So it had an elusive nature. And this one was the Ice Age steppe bison, which ranged across the grasslands. So we're looking for an adjective for the grasslands. What type of grasslands? Legion, cold, frigid, or intense. Well, we're talking about the Ice Age, so it's going to be cold grasslands. Again, that information that you needed to select this one came from surrounding information. Research led by the Center for Ancient DNA has revealed that the inscrutable mystery enigma conundrum, there's only one word that really works there, which is mystery species. The answers are hybrid, elusive, cold, and mystery. How many did you get there? Hybrid, elusive, cold, and mystery. How did you go? How did you go? Frigid is, okay, this is a great question. Isn't frigid a synonym for cold? It is, but do you call grasslands frigid grasslands? It just doesn't quite work. It's like, you think about words as little puzzle pieces, right? And some puzzle pieces just fit together. Some of them, they don't quite fit. You know, it kind of, you get the meaning, but it's just not quite the right fit for when you're making that phrase. That's how you have to approach this one here. Cool. So just to remind you what we did, we looked at multiple choice, single answer, multiple choice, multiple answers, reorder paragraph, fill in the blanks, and reading and writing, fill in the blanks. Let's do a Q&A. If you're on YouTube Live, please come back over to Zoom to ask your questions. So I'll just be checking the Zoom. Oh, there's a few people saying something about mystery versus mysterious. Oh, good call. Good call. Mysterious species or mystery species. It could actually be both. You could have a noun or an adjective there. A mystery species, like the mystery winner, for example, is, well, they're two nouns together, but the mystery part acts as an adjective. Language is crazy. I'm sorry. Here we go. How does the PTE give marks for listening and repeat sentences? Yeah, okay, good. So in repeat sentence, it's a speaking task, but it also contributes to your listening score, okay? Because you have to hear the sentence properly in order to repeat it. How much does it contribute to your listening score? I don't know. I don't know, but it does. Mohammed J, is it possible that sentence spoken in write from dictation is grammatically incorrect? Oh, no, I don't think so. Okay, so you're doing write from dictation, you're about to listen for the sentence and it comes out, is it going to be grammatically correct? Or it'll be grammatically correct. I don't think the item writers, the test writers would give you a grammatically incorrect one. So it'll always be correct. I think we can assume that. Jay, the E2 method for retail lecture does not work for me. I have a huge difficulty in listening and taking notes. Would you recommend an alternative method? Oh, I don't know how else to do it. You have to take notes while you listen. This is something you'll have to practice. You'll have to practice taking notes while listening, because you can't do it from memory. You can't listen to the lecture and then retell the lecture from memory. It's just not possible, because the lecture can go for 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds. That's so much information. All you need to do when you're taking notes is just write down key words, key concepts, key phrases. You don't need to write sentences, and you certainly don't need to dictate what the person's saying. So that's something you'll have to practice. I'm sorry. Vinu, Jay, you seem inactive in PTE this year. No material update in the portal for paid members on YouTube. Yeah, good criticism. We've been working on a lot of stuff here at E2 Language. I don't want to neglect the PTE course. It's definitely something I've been thinking about, and I will get around to updating the videos. The videos are still good, by the way. The methods are all good. I do need to update the multiple choice single answer according to the new method, but everything else is still fine. it's fine. It still works perfectly as far as I'm concerned. And we're still getting a lot of successful people running through the course, which is proving that it's working. But good criticism, I appreciate it. When I find the time, probably in about, I don't know, maybe in about a month, I'm going to have enough time to start to work on redoing some stuff and reposting on YouTube. And yep. There's a lot of work to be done at E2 Language. It's actually crazy what we do here. It's good though. It's very good. It's good fun. I seem to score 100% when I do these mock tests, but my accuracy drops when I practice from other sources. Any idea why? I don't know what sources you're talking about. If you're talking about the ptepractice.com, that mock test is a real killer. That is a tough one. If you found the official practice test hard, then so did a lot of other people. It's certainly good practice though. Jay, when can we get that image showing relationship among different tasks and sections? So I don't know where to put emphasis. Let me give that to you right now while it's here. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to give you the link to it right now. Oopsie. PTE scoring, there it is there. Bear with me, I'm going to give you a link to this little piece of information, which is really cool. I'm going to post this into the chat. It's just uploading to Dropbox. I'm just going to get the file for you. Okay, just sharing the file. Just let me change this. Okay, and copy. Okay, I'm going to put this into the chat here. Whoops. Okay, there should be a Dropbox, not Dropbox, Google Drive link in the chat. Click that. It's a diagram that explains how the tasks are related and how the scoring is related. So please do check that out. That was actually created not by me or anyone here. It was created by one of you, an engineering student who was taking the PTE. It's fabulous. It's really cool. So check that out. It explains how like listening is related to writing and how writing influences Okie dokie. Kamal, I gave the test today, 31st of May, so it's not today. I gave the test on the 31st of May at 8:30 a.m. and it was seriously painful for me because the volume of the headset was too low to hear properly, even not recording good. I had raised this concern immediately with staff before starting the test, but no luck to sort out this issue. Okay, Kamal, considering you've raised this in the exam, you should definitely write a report to Pearson. They'll check to see if there was a technical fault. If there's a technical fault, I'm sure they'll give you another opportunity to take this test again, hopefully free of charge. Yeah, if you do find a technical issue in the exam, like you can't hear something or there's crackling, whatever it is, don't be paranoid though. The people take this way too serious. I mean, it's very serious, I get it, but you know, if you hear a slight little noise in your headset, don't think the whole thing's not working. It probably is. But if you can't hear the lecture, then that's definitely reason to complain, okay? And hopefully something will be done about it. Rose, I hope I do well during the exam. So do I. Vinu, no one passes a PT if we couldn't get repeat sentences and write from dictation correctly. Is that true? I don't know. I don't know about the weightage of that. Jay, please add one more extra question for each section in your reading live mock test. Yeah, so with the updated ones, we'll be, again, time considerations, we'll be considering that one. I'll let you know. Okay, I've already done that. Srinivas, in fill in the blanks, drag and drop. Even when I skim read the paragraph, in the real exam, I could not be able to understand the theme of the paragraph. What could I do to figure out the answers? There's no... With the two fill in the blanks tasks, the drag and drop and the drop down list one, there's no There's no method or way to do it. Those two tasks in particular are tests of your vocabulary. There's no way around them. There's no secret formula or structure or anything like that. It's, as I said at the beginning, if you want to, for the drag and drop, you want to raise your awareness of collocations. You want to be able to look at a text and sort of say, okay, I understand at least in theory what's happening here, okay? But really, you need to start building your vocabulary. When I took the PTE, I noticed that the PTE reading in particular was a severe test of your vocabulary. Not so much the meaning behind the grammar, not so much just general reading text. It was a vocabulary-driven reading test, I thought. So keep that in mind. You may need to start to build your vocabulary, or you probably should. Jay, when I have reading part, do other... I can't understand that one. Sorry, Mariam, you'll have to write that one again. Nirav, why was A not the second one in reorder paragraph? Not sure. I have to go back. Kavya, I have my exam tomorrow. Good luck, Kavya. Sweta, please suggest a good strategy for multiple choice questions, single answer. I think the strategy that I suggested in this live class is the best one. Read the question prompt, then read the text thinking about the question prompt. For example, let's say the question prompt says, what is the author's attitude towards climate change? Okay, what is the author's attitude towards climate change? Then you read it and you're thinking to yourself, what's the author's attitude? What does he think about climate change? You read it and then you go, okay, he's against climate change. He doesn't believe in climate change. Then you go to the answer options and you go, that one says that he doesn't believe in it. Okay, that's the method to use. That's the best one. Where can we find a synonym list and collocations list? So Tussaduk, you can find that in the PTE course, PTE reading, vocabulary, you'll find the collocations list. We don't have a list of synonyms, but you can use a thesaurus. That's what a thesaurus does. It shows you synonyms. Jobert Lines, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. When is the best time to use my tutorial? I still have 5. Well, you want to stagger them out before your exam. So if your exam's in 2 weeks, you want to start taking your tutorials leading up to your exam. You want to try and take all of your tutorials before your exam so you're in the best possible position to pass. Sunil, are the questions becoming more and more difficult with too many distractors? I don't know. I know that the PT update their questions from time to time in the exam. I don't think they changed the level of difficulty. I think it's already probably set at the most difficult level it could possibly be. Yes. Prachi, in reorder paragraph, is the sentences are paired correctly? Does the order matter? Okay. I mean, to get a full score in reorder paragraph, you need to have the independent sentence in the right place, like A and B, B and C, D and E, E and F, for example. You can have E and F at the top and still get 1 point, but then it's obviously going to subtract from the other scores. So yes, you need to get them all right to get a top score. Jay, I seem to score, okay, I've already answered that one. Jay, would you recommend me to buy a book from the PTE website to practice more? My exam will be on the 23rd of June. Yeah. Look, if you're a paper-based person, if you find it easy to study with paper, the book, I don't know how many practice questions the book contains. It may be a good supplementary study tool for you. Nirav, what is enunciation while speaking? Enunciation refers to the clarity of your speech, the way that you define the sounds that you're saying, okay? So it's obviously similar to pronunciation. With speaking, what you need to consider is, A, you need to consider the clarity of your speech, the way that you articulate, the way that you make the sounds as clear and as crisp as possible. But the second thing you need to consider, which is really critical, and I think people forget this, you need to speak with rhythm and intonation, okay? So what the algorithm's doing, it's assessing the sounds that you're making, k, b, p, m, r, l, whatever, the English sounds. So it knows how to do that, but it's also assessing the way that you speak with correct intonation. So for example, in a repeat sentence, if the sentence comes out and says, my favorite one, the gymnasium is located behind the library. The gymnasium is located behind the library with upwards intonation at the end, then you need to repeat the sentence back with the same intonation, with the upwards intonation at the end. If you said the library is located behind the gymnasium, even if it's perfectly said in terms of pronunciation, you would not get a good score because you're not getting the oral fluency. So in short, mimic the rhythm of the speaker in repeat sentence, but in read aloud, make sure you're reading with good rhythm and emphasis and pausing, da, 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 da. Pavithra, J, today in multiple choice, multiple answers, it was radio buttons instead of check boxes. Is there any change in the pattern? No. In multiple choice, multiple answers, it's check boxes. Vinu, are retail lectures always 90 seconds? No, they can be between like 45 seconds, the shortest one, up to 90 seconds max. Payal, Jay, you mentioned once in a webinar that Pearson recommended to write on both sides of the argument in the essay. Could you please tell me if there is only one side of the, do you agree or disagree? Okay. Okay, so with that, you need to acknowledge the other side of the argument in your essay. So if it's a question that says, do you agree or disagree? Let's say overpopulation is a problem. Do you agree or disagree? So let's say we agree that overpopulation is a problem. But you might want to mention, while there are a number of people who believe that overpopulation is not an issue and they believe having more children actually improves the world, whatever. At least at some point in the essay, you need to acknowledge the other side of the argument. It can be done in the introduction. It can be done in the paragraphs. You could write a for paragraph and against paragraph, and then in the conclusion, say what you believe. As far as I am concerned, or in my opinion, I believe that, ... just make that very clear at the end. Yeah, so there's different ways to skin the cat there. You can do it in the intro, you can do it through the paragraphs, and whatever the case may be, you need to put your opinion in the conclusion, okay? I heard that the video pop up during describe image session. Okay, some people have been experiencing this little pop-up during the exam that says, when you click the next button, it pops up and says, are you sure you want to continue? And you click yes. It's a couple of, if that happens, don't freak out. Just click yes. Wonderful. Am I able to take a pre-test before the real PTE test? How? Click, because you're a platinum member, you'll have an opportunity to speak to a teacher before your test date. In the dashboard, you'll see the pre-test strategy session. There's a button that says book now. Click that button. Shri, my recent test results are, I won't go through those. Do you think, okay, so Shri's having an issue with listening and writing. Low scores for listening and writing, but higher scores for speaking and reading. That may have something to do with write from dictation. If you didn't complete all of the write from dictation at the end of the listening section, that will affect your writing score and your listening score. The other one is summarize spoken text, contributes to both writing and listening. I'm struggling now. Jay, today in multiple choice, no, I've answered that one. Sunil, what's a good method of paraphrasing apart from synonyms? Okay. So let's say you've got the question, you're writing the essay, right? And you get the question prompt. and you need to paraphrase it. You need to rewrite it in your own words. You can take selected words and rewrite them, like big to large and small to tiny, whatever it is. But what you want to do is read it and think about how to express it in another way, maybe using a different sentence structure, maybe in a passive sentence. There's different ways to do that. Something to practice anyway. Pawandeep, will listening to podcasts or audiobooks help improve listening skills? Pawandeep, personally, I love podcasts and I hate audiobooks. I don't know why. My brain can't concentrate when I'm listening to an audiobook being read. However, when I listen to a podcast and there's a conversation between two people, my brain just turns on and I can just listen in. So try both. Maybe you're different. Maybe you like audiobooks. I don't know. But yes, excellent listening material. And by the way, some fantastic podcasts. Yeah, whatever, I don't know, whatever you're into, there'll be something out there for you for sure. When do you plan to do the whole mock test? I don't think we will. If you want to do a whole mock test, go to ptpractice.com. They've done it and it's excellent. Jay, would you recommend me to buy a book? I've talked about that one. Jay, can you no, Jay, I'm having difficulty in retail lecture. Is it okay if I just repeat keywords with the E2 method? Yes. I've answered that one. I've answered that one. That's right. Jobbits or Hobbit. What is the time for the new mock test 79? We're thinking about the 65 will be held at, we don't know yet. This is to be confirmed. The 65 class will be held at 6 p.m. Melbourne, Sydney time. And the 79 class will stay at this same time. Okay. It seems to capture, it's not perfect for everybody. I'm sorry about that. It's hard to satisfy everybody here, but it will capture Southeast Asia, South Asia, even parts of Europe and the Middle East will also be, it'll be morning time for you there, but that should work. It won't be particularly good for South America. I'm sorry, but most of our students are through Asia and the Middle East. Nira, no, Pathasad. I'm not sure what you mean there. Pivithra Thais J, would you make a video saying which kind of words we must use for describe image according to each graph? No, I mean, if you need some vocabulary to describe trends in graphs, upwards, escalated, increased, decreased, rose, fell, sharply, that sort of stuff, do just Google vocabulary IELTS writing task 1. I think there'll be something out there on the internet that'll list all of those words, or just type into Google how to describe a graph. It'll give you those keywords. Anji, when are you going to start the split classes? Probably from July 1st, but I will confirm that later. Charan. Kavya, when do you plan to do? Oscar, any technical advice for speaking section, the mic position, etc.? Not really. Just as you would if you were talking to somebody on Skype, just make sure the microphone is not directly in front of your mouth, because when you make p sounds, p or b, plosive sounds, it sends a big puff of air. So just put it to the side of your mouth and just do this test. Go. P, 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 p. If you do that, you'll notice that the air is not blowing on the microphone. So that's fine. Wish me luck for next time. As I got da 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 da. Sumya, good luck. Yes, yes, yes. See me. How long is the tutorial, the one-on-one tutorial? They are 45 minutes each, one-on-one with the teacher. What is the difference between live mock test and a tutorial? Well, this is a live mock test and the tutorial is one-on-one with the teacher. Dicka, Jay, which part of the listening and reading have significant on the scores? I don't know. Nobody knows that except for Pearson. If people tell you otherwise, it's just speculation. Raghavendra, Jay, how to remember all the collocations? You can't. Just raise your awareness of it. All right, guys, I've still got like nearly finished the questions. I'll keep going. Sunil, does adding an idiom in the essay increase the scoring of the writing? No, idioms are not appropriate for academic writing, like raining cats and dogs and kicking the bucket and stuff, two birds in the hand. No, it's not appropriate for academic writing, so please don't include them in the essay. Tussaduck, I received this feedback on my read aloud assessment. Your tempo is uneven as your voice speeds up and intonates significantly. For example, okay, so what I think the teacher's trying to say there is that you go rapidly fast and then you might slow down and then rapid. For tempo, keep a steady beat when you're speaking in read aloud, for example. You don't want to go rapidly fast and then slow and then rapid. That's not intonation. Intonation is using emphasis within the word, stress, to create meaning, but using the same tempo as you go through, okay? So tempo, and speak at a medium pace, not too fast, not too slow. Jay, why don't you write a book on PTE? Well, maybe one day. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading the questions here. I'm just trying to pick out some last ones. Cool. All right, I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm exhausted. I hope you are not. I hope that was good. I hope you learned something. Yeah. We appreciate feedback. If you do have any feedback, please send it to us. We're more than happy to, you know, as I said, we're a small company. We're working pretty hard to do what we can to improve what we're doing, but we do have a vision to make E2 language, you know, the best place to go. Well, I think it currently is, but I think we've got room for improvement as well. So we certainly want to get there, and we very much appreciate your support and becoming paid members. So thanks again for signing up. I think what you're doing is contributing to something that's going to become bigger and better in the future and help more and more people. So really cool. Thanks again. And if you're taking the test soon, good luck. And yes, good luck. That's all I can say.